Oh, here is a guy I'm about to introduce you to, who I've known you, Trevor, for maybe about a year or so. And you, out of the blue, you approached me and said that you wanted to do some fundraising for Konnect Radio. And I thought you'd be going, well, maybe a little cake sale, maybe something nice like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And what did you actually say that you wanted to do? Because this is phenomenal.
Well, I was preparing to do a Camino walk in Spain. It's a Camino Via de la Plata, and basically it's a 1,007 kilometre or 625.7 mile walk. Beginning at Seville and going all the way up to Santiago in the north of Spain. That was...
as you do, obviously.
As you do, obviously, yeah.
And, do you know, people who have just heard the figure, so 625 miles roughly, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, it's only when you've done walking that you realise how far that actually is. So, for me, my experiences... I walked around Anglesey, and that was about 120 miles, and we had a week to do it in. And honestly, I was 15 years younger then, and even then my knee joints, my feet, I was fed up by about day 3. And we were doing about 20 miles a day or so, and I was just, I'd had enough, and I could feel that my body, it couldn't handle much more. But this is going to take you over a month, isn't it?
Yeah, approximately 43 days-ish, depending on, if you have a rest day, which I don't tend to do. But it's, it's a long time walking day after day after day. That's the hard bit.
And you do this almost annually, or at least a massive walk annually, don't you?
Well, I've done. I've been involved in sort of fundraising, usually for Open Doors, for probably about 20 years now. Doing various things. The Pennine Way, the Pennine Way 1 year, we did a 100-mile non-stop canoe ride through the night on the River Wye, about 4 years on the bounce. And last year I did the France Camino, which is from just the French side of the Pyrenees over to Spain, and then along the north from east to west. In the north of Spain, which is it's going to be different from this one, and that was 500 miles, 800 kilometres. So yeah, it's a challenge, but I sort of like challenges, and I don't always plan challenges, but when I get an opportunity to do something, if it feels okay, sometimes you find yourself doing things maybe you don't even really want to do. So.
And you mentioned that you normally do it for Open Door. Why did you decide to do it for us this year?
Well, last year was Open Doors, and it was incredible. The support was great. But this year, I just felt I needed to do something local, so it wasn't a plan. And I am a Christian, and so I just decided to just sort of let God take over and just sort of something will pop up. So I was just there. I mean, one day we go to the same church, and he would just give a little chat. I thought that's it. He's no ifs or buts. I thought that's it. If he wants me to do this, or if he wants me to do it on behalf of Konnect. So that's why I just said, is that okay?
And of course it was.
It was as simple as that. It wasn't like a big plan. It was just, you popped up and I was looking.
Do you know, and it's people like you and the many people who have been donating to the radio station this week who just, you encourage us lot, because you've come into the studio now. You can probably see that I'm not looking the best I've ever looked. And to be quite honest, after the show, I'm probably going to have to go home and go to bed. But the fact that you are so willing to help us to get the word of Jesus out there, thank you so much, Trevor, for this. I'm not just going to let you go like this, because I've got a lot more questions to ask you, so hopefully it's all right. And I hope you don't mind me saying that you're of an older age.
Yeah, I'm 67 in July.
So, you know, I'm 40, and if I was asked to walk that, I would have to say no, because I don't think I could do it physically. I don't think I could do it mentally. It would just be, my body couldn't handle it at the moment. So for you to do it anyway, it's an incredible thing. But for you to do it at the age you are, that's even more amazing. What do your family think about this? Have we got you in trouble here, Trevor, with your dear wife?
No, I can't say there's no concerns because you get to an age and you do pick up along the way some health issues, which I've got health issues. But fortunately, I'm pretty asymptomatic in some of the things I've got, and there's more than one. But the last 20 years of my working life, I'd retrained into an outdoor instructor. I'm quite robust. I don't mean like fit, but I'm quite a robust person.
I love that phrase. I'm robust.
Yeah, so I don't bend anymore. So I don't bounce anymore. But I've got the mindset and I've got the experience, and so it's just I think a lot of it is. You mentioned a few seconds ago about the you walk in Anglesey. You said after a week you was at the end of your tether, but in reality, when you're walking day after day, after a week, generally that's when you start to kick in, and your body gets used to it. And it's almost like a lot of things. When you think you're at the end of your tether, you're actually at the beginning of your tether. And that can be said about lots of things in life. Just when you think I can't carry on, and then all of a sudden things get easier. So that's a metaphor, but it's true.
Very interesting. And what we're going to be doing is checking in with you every few days. That's all right, of course, because one thing we don't want to be doing is to putting you off your stride. So you've got my permission to, if we're sort of intruding too much, because the main thing is that you're well, you're safe, and you can do it in the time that you want to do it. So if you feel that it is too much for us checking in with you, just tell us and that's fine. But we're going to go big on this, and we want our listeners to be part of it. We're going to be getting video vlogs from you. We're going to we'll get you kitted out in a proper Konnect Radio t-shirt, jersey and that kind of stuff. So I don't even know, in all honesty, what kind of stuff you would wear on a walk like this. I guess you wouldn't want a big thick hoodie, would you?
No, it's I've just weighed and my backpack and the stuff that I'm carrying. Basically, you need two of everything. Well, the clothes you wear, not really the shoes. Mine weighs at the moment about 7 pounds. So you need your washing kit and some medication if you take it, all the normal stuff. But so it's really light duty, which makes a lot. A pound on a long walk is a lot. It just multiplies. Trust me. And so I'm just looking out for some because I'm quite a big chap, and I'm looking out for some merino wool sort of tops, wicker tops. So just a couple of them really, and you alternate each day, and you wash one each night and wear the next sleeping one, and you're up and away in the morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you're walking. I like to walk early, especially this time of the year when I'm in 7 weeks. I'll be 7 weeks tomorrow. I'll be beginning my walk, and it can be up to 30 degrees. So you need to. I'll need to get up in. Get the most of the work done sort of pre-midday really. I'm probably finishing about 1 o'clock, so I'll be walking, and hopefully at 6 in the morning, and see the sunrise. It's incredible.
And to our listeners, if Trevor said anything, you've gone, actually, I am a provider of walking gear, I am a provider of outdoors equipment, and if you'd like to get in touch with us and you'd like to do your bit where we actually get Trevor kitted up with everything he needs, then maybe we can help with that. Get in touch with us here at the station. And I say this because all I have to do is sit here and bring up a thing and say, Trevor, are you there? I'm looking forward to it. Can you say that? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, in anything like this, anything, there's I think a trepidation. Fear's the wrong word. But that's part of it, the adventure. I think the definition of an uncertain outcome, and so, but isn't life like that anyway? Yeah. We all think we can plan stuff, but it's pretty uncertain of what's going to happen. But it's a safe, it's a challenge, and one of the things that motivates me, as for a long time, is we all know we're not going to live forever, and while your body can be used in ways, then push yourself and challenge yourself. It doesn't have to be long walks or something crazy. It could be small things, little challenges in your life every day. It's just that my life has led me to this at this moment in time, and worry is the wrong word, but you have to think about things. But the last 20 years of my professional life was walking anyway, and outdoor stuff. So I do have a lot of experience. I was in the army a long time ago, so I'm confident. And plus with my faith, sometimes you put in a bad situation, things happen. That's okay. Just deal with it when it happens, and let's see what happens.
And if it's all right with you, we will ask about your faith in a minute. And we'll ask a little bit about your journey, because I know that we could talk for a long time about this. And what I want this feature and this walk to do is that we actually learn more about you, actually. And it will be an encouragement to many other people, because maybe there's people who have been through these difficult times and they're thinking, do you know what, I'm just struggling at the moment. Where is God in all this? How do I manage it? Because you're also part of the team at XCC. We know James well. And we can maybe touch upon that as well as the journey goes on. But you're going to be, I guess, setting sail isn't the right phrase. You're going to be flying out, shall we say. Is it early April?
April the 23rd of fly out.
Okay.
I was going to start walking on the 24th, but the flight's been moved back late. So now I'll be starting walking on the 25th, because I'll need a full day there, get there late to set myself out. And the walk actually begins in the cathedral, and it doesn't open until 10:30. So I want to get my stamp. Actually, you have a passport on the Camino, and you get it stamped at every place you stop, every albergue along the way, in cafes or bars, or lots of places give you a stamp as evidence.
Yeah, of course.
Of your walk, and you build up it, and it's a great sort of thing to look back on. And you have to produce that at the end when you get to the cathedral at Santiago, where they'll give you a completion certificate.
That sounds great.
Which is great. I mean, so you get that, and that's the evidence for it. Which is good. So.
And we're speaking to Trevor at the moment, and Trevor, as you do, he's agreed to walk 625 miles on a pilgrimage, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
To raise money for Konnect Radio. So there's a few reasons why you're doing this. One is to raise money, but also it's to remember your brother, isn't it, really?
Yeah, my brother died. I was 25, he was 29. He'd been ill for quite a while. And we actually thought at the time in 1984 or 5, he died through contracting AIDS. It wasn't an easy time, a young man. And we was actually involved in a blood scandal thing recently. So in the consultations and things like that. So over time, you don't spend much time thinking about bereaved ones. Maybe I can only speak for me personally, but on this walk, I wanted to spend time thinking about him. I did it on the last one. It was really beneficial to me. And when you get to the end at Santiago, you can you can dedicate the certificate you get, which is an amazing looking document. So I dedicated it to my brother, who was called Terry. So that was it, really. So it's time to have a think. It wasn't like I was thinking constantly. I'm going to be thinking constantly about my brother. It's just that it's what I learned on the last walk was that I sort of felt that you carry him in your heart. So it's really difficult to think about somebody constantly, and I don't think I even really wanted to do that. But my conclusion on what I felt was that, well, when people are bereaved, you can carry them in your heart, and you can pull them out when you need them. Sometimes that's it, really. So yeah, it's quite beneficial for me.
It's a strange thing, isn't it, grief? Because you have good days and you have bad days, and then things will happen in your life, and you start to think, I wish they were here. I wish I could share this with them. And I've got that. I lost my friend, my closest friend of 25 years, a young bloke, and there's things that are happening and life moves on, but you almost wish that you could tell them about things. So this walk that you're going on is going to be a mammoth challenge. I don't want to scare you here, because you know anyway, it's not like it's the first time that you've done anything like this. But there's people getting in touch who have actually done this before. And There's people saying that it was one of the most life-changing things that they've ever experienced. Because I think, and you will know this a lot more than me, but I think sometimes we're fearful, aren't we, of being alone with our own thoughts too much. And if you're doing something like an XCC, or if you're doing something like this walk, you're basically, in a way, in your own head for all that time, no distractions. But I think you gain from that, don't you?
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial, but I must admit there are times in me in these kind of walks. I've been on mission trips in different various places of the world for months at a time, and there are times when regarding the grief bit or even missing people, you're busy doing stuff, but then you get the moments like you said where something hits you and you think, I just wish this person was here. And I think it's good to be in your own head, and spaces. There's a lot of talk these days about men and the things they struggle with and mental health. I think there's certain things that us men, we're meant to struggle with it in our head, and we're meant to figure things out ourselves. And maybe if you've got faith with God, but also there's times when you need to share and not carry the burdens of everyday life with you. So I think if there's the right thing to do is to discern when to share, who to share it with, and when to realise, well, I need to just crack on with this until there is a time maybe to share. And there is always a time to share. And what's quite interesting is on the Caminos, or those people who've done it, you'll know that complete random strangers from every nationality you could think of there could be 6 people sat on a bench having a rest, and then there's every one of them from somewhere else in the world, but they manage to communicate, and people tell you almost their entire life story within meeting them in, and it's incredible. And so it's the same for me as well, and that's part of it really. Sometimes a strange ear, it's easy to spill your beans, if you like, to somebody, because you're never going to see them again. But it's so very therapeutic, and it's a blessing when people share with you as well. And it's you need to learn to, which I find it hardest, to keep your mouth shut and listen.
I guess the weather helps as well.
Well, this one, it's going to be, if anything, the weather, is going to be hot most of the time until maybe we get near the end, the last sort of 100k, as it gets towards the north. Last year I set off a bit earlier, so I did get some days when it was snowing and frozen beard and all this kind of stuff. But you got the right kit, you got the layers, and when you're walking, you got some amazing apps. So it's quite difficult to get off the trail if you've got the right kit and the right apps.
I was about to ask that. So are you one of those people who, when they walk, they don't listen to things and they just like to take in what's going on? Or have you got like headphones on and you're listening to music or sermons and that kind of stuff?
No, I just walk and watch and listen.
Right.
I don't play anything. I think for me, there's a time to sit and listen. I can listen to music and at home anytime I want. So it's a time for, as well as exciting, experiencing things, but it's reflection and listening to what maybe God has to say to me, what my own thoughts are, and just let it roll. But everybody's different, so there's no right or wrong way when you're doing a Camino. People when I walk long distances every day, some do short distances. You can mix it up, mix and match it, have rest days or whatever you want. I just like to crack on and walk, but I know my limits, so I'll stick to that if I can. But some days you can't. Some days you've got to go longer than you really want to. But it's just managing your body and your mind.
How do you manage it emotionally as well? Because one of the challenges, I would think, is being away from your family, not having those home comforts there.
Well, over the years, I've been away from my family quite a lot, really. Not in massive periods, but short things like this. And when you're busy, then occasionally, you touched on it before, something will happen, and I think. I've been married in April, actually, the day after I start walking. I think it's 45 years. A good time to miss your anniversary, is it? So it's like I get moments when I think, wow, I just wish Carol was here now. I just wanted to see this. And we have the luxury of the phones and stuff, but it's getting that moment. But most of the time you're sort of walking along and you're busy and you're doing what you do. So you do, I don't sit there pining for my wife, maybe my dog, That's not
Well,
not
I was
joking.
about to say this, that actually you've broken a record here. The first dog to ever be in the studio.
Yeah, Abe.
And he's called Abraham.
Abraham, yeah, we call him Abe. My wife named him. It's a great name. And he was a working dog when I was an outdoor instructor working with challenging young people. He'd be there every day. It's a great icebreaker, a dog.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a dog. So, and he's changed our life, really. So he's with me all the time. And he's here today. But he's not coming on the Camino.
He's good, isn't he?
He's a great boy, yeah.
Because I'm just thinking now, he's literally now... It's not a good advert for the show, the fact that he's fallen asleep.
Yeah.
But he's in a world of his own, just sat there relaxing, thinking, I'm fine here.
Yeah, he's a cool dog. He's used to being dragged all over the place in strange places.
So your walk, Trevor, not that walk, I mean your walk in your faith,
Yeah.
when did it start for you and why?
30 years ago, in mid-30s. The reason was my childhood was quite traumatic for lots of different reasons. Parents were married 3 times. My mother was married 3 times, and lots of things went on. Not a great start to life. I suppose it did build me some resilience to things, and then my mother she became an alcoholic, and then through that she eventually went to AA, and that's where she became a Christian. So then she came after me, and I was an atheist. I was an atheist. And I was absolutely, what's the word? I wasn't impressed by her double standards of all the things that I'd seen and witnessed as a child and a teenager, to then come throwing Jesus at me, which I thought was a fairy tale. And I was quite a sort of physically, I was hard mentally more than physically. I was hard. My heart was hard. My head was hard. I suppose in a way it sort of had to be to just battle on through the things that had happened to me as a child, and then at the time, the small business where I was doing loft conversions. On the surface, everything seemed okay. Nice wife, couple of kids, nice little house, nothing crazy. Couple of vans, couple of lads working for me, and then there was an accident on one of these jobs, and this a child of 9 was really severely hurt. There was an accident, something fell on his head. It wasn't. I didn't look at it as my fault, but then when I looked at it, really, it was my job, and all the circumstances, everything that went wrong, led by other people to this accident, and it was catastrophic, really, for the child. But he didn't die. Everything worked out. It did get better. But at that moment in time, my mother was giving me tapes and books and listening to Jesus. I would even tell her to get out of the house. I said, "You don't tell my children that rubbish. You're not having it." And that's how bad I was. And I was a bit of a lad. I was living a life that I shouldn't be living. I thought I was it. I thought the world revolved around me. And then when this accident happened, it was the first time in my life where I really stopped me in my tracks, because it was a child and it was somebody else's child, and it was on a place of work which is mine and my responsibility. So ultimately, whichever way I looked at it, whichever way I tried to say, well, if this wouldn't have happened, I couldn't get away from the fact that it was my responsibility, and that sort of brought me to my knees, really. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw for the first time in my life what I was. So I saw I was a monster. I'm not. When I say that, I was, and so I was reading. My mother gave me this sort of daily book, and I used to throw everything away. But for some reason, I kept this book. And I remember I opened it, and I felt something. And while the investigation was going on with the insurance companies before I could carry on with the job, then I remember I was plastering the cellar. And I was so lost, and I'd never been lost. I always, if something bad happened, I would sort of think, well, come on, what's next? I can deal with anything, but I just couldn't get past this. And I didn't believe in God, but I just came from within. I remember saying out verbally, out loud, okay, then if you're there, God, I need to know. I need to know if you're there, because if you're not, I'm sort of pretty goose, really. I may not have used those words, but that's what I said. And instantly, I felt like my chest being opened up. It was a physical feeling, and like warm air being breathed into my chest, and it sort of took my breath away. And I just knew instantly there was a God. It was amazing, and I just felt this love. It was just like a whoosh, and I started crying, and I just knew there was a God. And so my journey sort of started then. Now I'm a real physical guy. I mean, God talks to me through physical things. It's no good him talking to me, whispering in my ear. I have to sort of see it and believe it, and I just knew instantly that there's a God. I didn't run off to church. I didn't stop misbehaving or doing things I shouldn't be doing, but it was a start. And so, my support structure was all wrong. The people I knew wasn't good, and I just couldn't leave that because I didn't know how. So one thing led to another, and slowly you just started to look at things in a different way, see things differently, and then I got a hunger for knowing more about God. So it took about 2 years before I started to read things and listen to my mother, patch that relationship up as best we could. And then after 2 years, I sort of popped my head in the church, which is absolutely terrifying. And then one thing sort of led to another, and I didn't stop being foolish. I think I'm still foolish, but I'm a bit sort of personality. I need things to be happening, whereas before I would make my own entertainment by doing wrong things. Now God uses that thing that I need, my chaotic nature of the way I am. He uses it in a positive ways, which it can be used. So now it's hence these things what I'm getting into. I've done for a long, long time. It won't last forever because I'm getting older, but that's it in the journey. If anybody's sat there thinking about God, or is he there, or what's happening to me now in a bad position, you just got to carry on and just give it up. That's what the XCC is like. We get men in the mountains, and eventually when they're tired and a bit worn out, you just have to give it up, and you just can't move. So you listen, and I think I sort of think God really had to batter me. He had to batter me into submission, and so I really think He must love me because he didn't let me go. And all the time now, when I look back, even when I was an atheist, God, He was there. I can recognise Him how He was there then, but I couldn't see it then because life was all about me, and it's not about me. It's about God and Jesus, and I'm in His story. I'm just a tiny, tiny part of it, but we're all in it. But it is His story, not ours. So.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Trevor. And we're going to be following your journey on this walk. And again, we've got to go soon. It's flown by this morning. But thank you. Thank you for being so generous with your time and so dedicated to what you're about to do. And we'll be supporting you all we can. We'll be getting updates from you, and we'll be praying for you as well, Trevor. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the prayers. I really, really need those prayers. Thank you.